Something huge just arrived in the Philippines, and it's turning heads across Asia. At Subic Bay, a massive offload of brand-new U.S. military equipment has stunned Filipinos, shocked China, and raised urgent questions about what comes next in the South China Sea. Why is the U.S. suddenly pouring advanced weapons, vehicles, and supplies into this historic base? And what does it mean for the Philippines and the whole region? Let's break it down. At the break of dawn, the waters of Subic Bay shimmered under the rising sun. But this was no ordinary morning. Locals and fishermen spotted massive U.S. transport ships approaching the docks, ships so large they dwarfed the local vessels around them. Then came the offload. Giant cranes swung into action, pulling out container after container stamped with U.S. military markings. Flatbed trucks rolled onto the pier, carrying armored vehicles, Humvees, tactical trucks, and even what looked like missile launcher systems. Filipino dock workers, long used to commercial shipments, were stunned at the sheer scale and precision of the operation. Witnesses described it like a movie scene, convoys snaking out of the port escorted by military police, while U.S. and Filipino officers coordinated every move. Helicopters buzzed overhead providing aerial coverage. It wasn't just a delivery, it was a statement of strength, played out for everyone to see. On social media, videos went viral almost instantly. Hashtags like #SubicBay and #US military trended across the Philippines. Some users celebrated, calling it the return of the giant. Others expressed fear, wondering if this meant war was closer than ever. And that's the thing. This offload wasn't hidden. It was public. It was meant to be seen. A clear message to allies and adversaries alike. Subic Bay is alive again. To understand why the U.S. chose Subic Bay for this massive buildup, we need to look at history and geography. Subic Bay is not just a port, it's a fortress shaped by nature itself. Its deep sheltered waters can host aircraft carriers, nuclear submarines, and entire battle groups without difficulty. Few places in Asia have such natural advantages. For decades during the Cold War, Subic Bay was the crown jewel of America's presence in Asia. Alongside Clark Air Base, it formed the backbone of U.S. military power in the Pacific. At its peak, more than 30,000 American servicemen were stationed there, making Olongapo City a bustling hub of commerce and culture. But in 1992, everything changed. The Philippine Senate voted to reject the renewal of the U.S. bases treaty, and Subic Bay was handed back to the Filipinos. Many thought that was the end of the story. For years, Subic reinvented itself as a commercial freeport, attracting shipbuilding companies, logistics hubs, and tourism. Yet the bay's strategic location never lost its importance. It sits just 200 kilometers from the flashpoints of the South China Sea. Scarborough Shoal, the Spratlys, and the contested islands where Chinese and Filipino vessels now regularly clash. If the Philippines is the front line of maritime disputes, Subic Bay is the front line's supply depot. And here's the key. The 2014 Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, EDCA, reopened the door. The U.S. didn't regain bases, but it gained access sites, places where it could pre-position equipment, rotate troops, and operate in emergencies. Subic Bay, though not officially listed as a main EDCA site, is too vital to ignore. Its facilities are world-class, and its symbolism runs deep. That's why the massive offload happened here, not just because of convenience, but because of history, geography, and message. Subic Bay says to the world, the U.S. is back, and it's here to stay. So what exactly came off those massive ships? This wasn't just a shipment of spare parts, it was a full-scale arsenal designed for modern high-speed warfare. Let's break it down. First, the HIMARS rocket artillery systems. These are the same launchers that changed the battlefield in Ukraine, capable of striking targets more than 300 kilometers away with pinpoint accuracy. Deployed from Subic, HIMARS can cover nearly the entire South China Sea, giving the Philippines and the U.S. the ability to hit hostile positions on artificial islands or ships in contested waters. Then there are the armored personnel carriers and tactical vehicles. These machines allow rapid troop movement and protection on the ground, ideal if Philippine forces need to reinforce island outposts or respond to sudden incursions. Some of these vehicles are amphibious, meaning they can roll straight into shallow waters and beaches, giving troops mobility across the Philippines' island terrain. Next, surveillance drones. These unmanned aircraft are critical for intelligence gathering. They can fly high above disputed shoals, track Chinese Coast Guard patrols, or monitor suspicious activity without risking a pilot's life. Combined with portable radar units, These drones create an early warning network that extends deep into contested waters, and it doesn't stop there. Containers filled with communication systems, field hospitals, and mobile fuel depots hint at a strategy for sustained operations. In other words, the U.S. isn't just bringing weapons, it's bringing the backbone of a force that could operate in the Philippines for weeks or months without relying entirely on distant bases in Japan or Guam. This matters because logistics win wars. A single HIMARS system or drone is dangerous, but dozens of them, backed by fuel, supplies, and command centers in Subic Bay, could tip the balance of power in the region. And that's exactly why people were stunned, not just by what they saw, but by what it means. The obvious question is, why now? Why did Washington choose this exact moment to roll out such a massive deployment at Subic Bay? The answer lies in the rising tensions of the South China Sea. Over the past year, China has escalated its harassment of Philippine vessels. Filipino supply boats have been rammed, blasted with water cannons, and blocked from delivering food and fuel to outposts like 2nd Thomas Shoal. Just months ago, a Philippine Navy sailor was injured in one of these confrontations. Each incident has fueled public anger in the Philippines and growing frustration in Manila. At the same time, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. has pursued a dramatic pivot back toward the United States. Unlike his predecessor, Rodrigo Duterte, who leaned heavily on China, Marcos has reaffirmed the Philippines' alliance with Washington, opening new EDCA sites in northern Luzon and Palawan. These locations are critical. They directly face Taiwan and the South China Sea hotspots. And let's not forget the global picture. The U.S. is recalibrating its forces, drawing lessons from Ukraine while preparing for potential flashpoints in Asia. Subic Bay's new equipment is part of a wider Indo-Pacific strategy, one designed to deter China, reassure allies, and ensure America can respond faster than Beijing expects. The timing is also symbolic. This year marks multiple anniversaries of South China Sea clashes, and with Chinese expansion ongoing, like the militarization of artificial islands, the U.S. needed to show it won't sit idly by. In short, the offload at Subic is both practical and political. It strengthens defenses and sends a message. The Philippines is no longer standing alone. The Philippine public reaction has been mixed. Some are relieved, seeing the U.S. presence as a shield that finally balances China's aggression. Others worry this could drag the Philippines into a great power conflict. On the streets, the mood is cautious curiosity. Locals in Olongapo City near Subic welcomed the economic boost. Jobs, trade, and activity return when American ships dock. But older generations remember the social problems tied to the old bases, and warn history could repeat itself. Meanwhile, Beijing is furious. Chinese state media has condemned the Subic Bay offload as destabilizing and accused Washington of militarizing the region. Officials warned that the Philippines is becoming a pawn in America's strategic chess game. But behind the rhetoric, the truth is clear. China is rattled. Every HIMARS system at Subic can potentially target Chinese outposts in the South China Sea. Every drone adds another eye in contested waters. The balance of power just shifted, and Beijing knows it. So what does all this mean moving forward? For one, Subic Bay is no longer just a commercial port. It's back on the map as a key military node in the U.S. Indo-Pacific strategy. For the Philippines, it means stronger security, but also higher stakes. If conflict erupts in the South China Sea, Subic Bay will likely be one of the first targets. The question is, will this buildup deter aggression or draw it closer? The Philippines has just witnessed a stunning moment, the return of massive U.S. military equipment to Subic Bay. To some, it's a promise of protection. To others, it's a warning sign of danger ahead. One thing is clear. Subic Bay is back in the spotlight, and its role in the coming years could shape not only Philippine security, but the balance of power in the entire Asia-Pacific. What do you think? Is this buildup a blessing for the Philippines, or a dangerous gamble? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives on Asia's biggest stories. This is Truth Discovery, bringing you the truth behind the headlines. Until next time, stay informed and stay aware.